Hey everyone, I got a great show for you today. We are welcoming back a past guest, Don Costa, and he has what I consider to be a huge announcement and something that I'm very excited to see him launch, him and his partners. But I'm not going to steal his thunder, so let's welcome Don to the show and hear what he has going on. How you doing today, Don?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I just remembered I'm going to see you in about 3 or 4 days in Houston.
Yes. Oh, you're going to Houston. Fantastic. Yeah, Whole
I am.
Scaling Live. I'm going to be speaking there, and I'm excited to do that for sure.
Yeah, you're one of the reasons I'm going. I'm like, oh, I got to go see that guy talk. So I will. I will. I'm bringing Olivia too, so you can meet the wife, which very few people do. So that'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. That's exciting stuff for sure.
Excellent. Well, we could talk about that another time. Why don't you share your yeah, I mean your huge announcement and how you just continue to give back and help people. It's amazing to watch, and I think what you're doing is pretty cool. But why don't you tell us what it is?
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about it. It's a long time in the making. It's something that is, to give a little background. Well, first I'll tell you what it is. We're launching a mastermind community called the Inner Circle Elite for real estate investors,
Mhm.
and we're looking to build a really cool community. But the background story, which is it's weird. I actually was thinking about it last night. I don't know why I haven't thought about talking about this before, but I read Think and Grow Rich many years ago. Back when I was in high school, I actually read How to Win Friends. Get my words out. Win friends and influence people. I was a little bit of a scrapper in school. A principal handed that to me, and I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was the first book, and then Think and Grow Rich was the second. And then Think and Grow Rich, they talk about masterminds. And I remember working as a security guard in Eugene, Oregon. I had scratched on a notepad NOUMIC, and it was National Organization of United Minds, and the
Ah,
IC was like basically Inc. type of thing, or internet something community or whatever. I don't remember what it was exactly, but the NOUM was National Organization of United Minds, and that was my idea for a mastermind, and that had to been I'm trying to think here, probably like 1995
wow.
before masterminds were even a thing, which is crazy. It almost gives me chills talking about it, which is crazy because it was something that was in my head way back then. And I didn't even have an idea. I wasn't in real estate. I wasn't in business. I wanted to be in business. I didn't have an idea what I was going to do with it at the time. And it ended up becoming a name for a company that I had like cell phone stores in Las Vegas. And that was the corporate name because it was the idea I had originally. And so come for full circle now, I'm finally at a point where I get to launch a mastermind community, which is really cool. And give back to people who are looking to build better businesses. Give people an opportunity to come in and network and really build something that's just right for them, and to have the right people around them to help them do that.
Very, very cool. Well, just in case a listener maybe hasn't heard what a mastermind is or does, why don't you kind of define real quick what you think a mastermind is and why it's so helpful to people along their journey?
Masterminds, for the most part, they're communities of people going in the same direction. What makes them very powerful is you, especially in the world that you're in, you're going up against the grain a lot. You're going up against people who don't see your vision, don't share your dreams, that may think that you're crazy, right? I mean, especially I know my family always thought I was nuts because I was entrepreneurial minded. And so, number one, you get to surround yourself with people that are, basically like minded, going the same direction you are. And then, when you're industry specific, like we are to a large degree, you get to surround yourself with people that are in the same business, with the same struggles and the same fights and the same wins. And that's very powerful. A lot of us, we think we have to live on an island. We think we have to live in this space where we're alone and we don't have the resources that we need to be successful around us, and that's not the case. There are, um, opportunities now, to be with people that are sharing a lot of the same things that you're going through, and they're able to contribute. And it's funny because some of the biggest changes in my business are being a part of mastermind. I was part of a community where I was actually talking to somebody, and they had mapped out on the board their follow-up process. And that that conversation, it's funny because I don't even remember what his follow-up process was. I just remember how important that follow-up was to him. And so that stuck with me, and I came back, and that significantly changed my business, how I moved forward with my business. Follow up was 40% of what we did, in the last almost 2 years, as far as volume wise goes. And I don't know that I would have seen the significance of how it would impact my business had I not had that one conversation. So from little conversations like that to sometimes just big picture ideas, or something you're struggling with, and you don't have the knowledge yourself, the experience yourself to figure out how to realign things so they fit. There may be somebody in that room that's already experienced that and solved that problem, and they're able to point out where you're going wrong. I mean, across just so many levels of information and knowledge, and just sometimes even knowing that you're in the same battle that somebody else is across the country, and you can have somebody that you can basically confide in and talk to and work through that battle together, and you're not alone. The mastermind is significant in so many ways.
Yeah, I think the important things to a mastermind, in my opinion, is just that is you're getting involved with a team that is moving in the same direction as you said. And that's hard because one of the things that we see as people starting is you have your circle of friends and you
Right.
may be the only one thinking about real estate investing. So like you said, your family, everybody just says you're crazy. Or they tell you about their dad's next door neighbor's dog walker who lost a house in the '08 crash.
Right.
It's like, no, stop it, people. There are hundreds, if not thousands and tens of thousands of very, very successful real estate investors. You just need to get associated with them, maybe change your personal network a little
Right.
so that you can just accelerate everything. And more importantly for me, it's getting that jolt of positivity when you have a bad day, right?
Right.
Because bad
Right.
stuff happens, but if you're around other people who have been there and done that, they've had the same bad day, and they can get you through it and get you back on path. Um,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's critical.
It's huge. And we always say you need somebody to teach, you need somebody to chase. Like a lot of my growth has come from helping others, because I get to look at their businesses, and I get to see my business from a different angle through somebody else's lens to a certain degree, right? It's like
Mhm.
when I give an answer, it's like, well, why do I do it that way? And is that the best way I can do that? And should I look at it differently to see if I can give a better answer, or, that kind of thing. That's huge to have somebody to teach, and then to have somebody to chase is significant, because sometimes we have this ceiling in our mind, right? Our minds create our own boundaries, our own obstacles, and then you see somebody doing something, and you're like, wait a minute, if they can do it, why can't I do it? And that's significant too, because then you start chasing, what they're doing, and you try to accomplish that. So having that, that, I guess, mindset shift in both directions is huge. And that the mastermind communities really add a lot of value to that. So, the first time I heard somebody doing over 100 houses a year and not even seeing the houses, like, I was like, it's nuts. You can't do 100 houses a year and not see them. It's impossible. But, my mind didn't compute. Well, if you have the right people and systems and processes in place, you can do it.
Yeah.
And now we're doing that, and I don't see the properties, and I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute here. I mean, just little things like that are huge, significant. You don't see them when they happen sometimes, but they're
Yeah.
huge.
Mindset shifts. That's awesome. So the next question I have for you is you're clearly successful. You clearly have family responsibilities and you're enjoying life and all of those things. So why take this on? I mean, why do this? You don't have to, right?
Right.
It's going to be time consuming. You only have so many hours in the day. So, why?
Um, you know, that's an easy answer to answer, and it comes from, I guess, my history in this business. I'm not going to get into a deep dive into it, but basically, I've had two lives. I started in this business in 2003, became very successful, was a knucklehead, lost it all in the crash, and restarted again. Right. So that's it in a nutshell. Well, part of the reason I lost it all in the crash is because I started focusing on things that weren't part of my core competency. Like, I was trying to open a restaurant and nightclub, trying to start a sunglass line, trying to start this new baby bottle invention thing. And I was doing all these crazy things that weren't part of my core competency or my business. My focus is real estate investing. That's what I'm good at. And so um, now that my business is at a place where, it is to a large degree operating with a great team behind it, and I'm not as needed. And now that I'm not as needed, if I stick my nose into certain things, I actually break them instead of helping them. It's better to leave it alone, right? You get to that point. So it's like, what do I do with my time? Well, I'm an entrepreneur. That's my thing. Real estate's my widget, but I'm an entrepreneur first. And
Got it.
and so in my head, it's like, well, what do I do now? That's my hobby. I don't, I'm not good at golfing. I'll do it. I'm not good at it. Fishing, my ADD brain goes 100 miles an hour. And so it's like, I love doing what I do, which is like building a business. So, I guess the long and the short of it, the selfish part of it is that it is part of staying in my lane. It keeps me
Okay.
grounded in real estate investing, and it keeps me focused on what has made me successful so that I don't get sidetracked into other things that are going to take me down a path that are going to distract me. That's number one. Number two, it's because I know you had a question there, but
No, it's fine.
number two, I really do want to impact lives. I do really,
Yeah.
really do want to change lives. And so, and there's a lot of, selfish. I guess it's all selfish, right? There's a lot of there's no better way to say it, but there's a lot of reward in that. There's a lot of
Yeah.
reward in having a conversation with somebody and sharing one little thing with them, and they go back and they implement it and it changes their business significantly, and they come back 6 months or a year later and tell you, because of that one conversation, I'm on this path. And I want to do that. I want to feed that. I want to impact businesses. I want to change lives in a good way. I talked about it on live the other day. I want to, as corny as it sounds, like on the day that I die and my funeral's being had, I want somebody in that room to say, your dad changed my life. And I want my boys to see that and know that they have that responsibility too, to impact lives and to take the things that they're given and to do good things with them. So there's a lot of reasons behind it, that are huge for me. But at the end of the day, for me too as well. I love being part of a community
Yeah.
of people going the same direction. I get a lot out of it. So, and I want to give a lot back to it. So hopefully that's an answer people that, hear and they don't think, oh, this guy's just, trying to
Yeah,
feed his
no, not at all.
selfish.
I've known you for a little while now, and
Yeah.
first and foremost, it's very clear you love to help. Everything you do is helping people, giving back. I mean, I still remember you were gracious enough to give me 30 minutes when I brought a family friend down, right? Who
Right.
who knew nothing about real estate investing. You still gave up 30 minutes of your day to say, this, that. It was meaningful to me and him as well. So that's all true. And then I really love the fact that you could self-assess and go, hey, I now have a business that's creating time. And you're
Right.
like, how can I fill that time so I don't do something stupid like last time?
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's being smart, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to create something that keeps me in my lane and keeps me focused. And oh, by the way, I can help people. So that's awesome. I thought that was wonderful. So I know based on the pictures I've seen, you have 3 additional partners. I'll call on partners is the right word, but 3 other peers. Why don't we just highlight who they are, their backstory a little bit, because I don't think the audience knows them.
Yeah. So Mike Cowper is one of the co-founders of this group, and Mike Cowper is genuinely a great guy who is got a huge heart as far as helping and giving back to the real estate community. He's also a phenomenal sales beast. He has, he started in the acquisitions role. He's excelled in the acquisitions role. He's now a partner with a company in Michigan, and he just does really, really well. Their company is wholesale based, and that's what they do. That's what they're good at. So he brings that wholesale component on a large scale to the group. But like I said, just the sales. You have a conversation with the guy, and some of the one-liners that he throws out there will change your acquisitions game big time. So and Mike he's just a solid guy. We have Ryan Shalaba, who is out of Pittsburgh, and he's a rock star in his own right. Him and his business partner Arch, they run in-house construction. Most people who know me know that I run general contractors. They run an in-house construction team. They do about 50 to 60 deals a year. They do buy and hold. They do some new construction stuff, and they're just really solid in what they do. Ryan is one of those people that really looks at his business at a whole different level. Like, he's looking at not only where are our inefficiencies in the rehab process and all that, but he's looking like, okay, are we waiting a day or two to start the rehab? Are we waiting a day or two to list the rehab?
Wow.
What are those things costing us? Like if you want to talk to somebody that looks at their business at a granular level, to look at ways you can add to your bottom line, he's a huge, powerhouse and just a wealth of knowledge in doing that. And the thing about this guy that blows me away is he's young enough to be my son. I mean, he's like 26 years old,
Wow.
just smart as hell, and runs an incredible business. So Melissa Johnson, most people probably know Flipping Junkie and Danny Johnson. They've been around for a while. They're givers. They're wholesalers and rehabbers. Melissa is the one that actually runs the rehab business, and just it's really cool to have her in the group again. She's a giver as well, and very very solid and knowledgeable in what she does. She's big on marketing, and they do a lot of internet marketing and stuff like that. So they just it's a combined powerhouse of knowledge and experience and givers that have come together to put this together to make sure that I reached out to each of them when I kind of put this thing together, because I knew where their hearts were, I knew where their knowledge was, I knew they had real businesses, and I knew that they would help collectively bring the right group together. And at the end of the day, it's about building the right group, the right community,
Yeah.
and making sure that we are able to not only serve the people that are there from the founders perspective, but also make sure that we're creating a community of people that can give back to each other. So
Very cool. And I might have missed it, but where's Melissa's market?
Melissa is in San Antonio, Texas. So
Texas.
yeah.
I was going to guess Texas, just given the geography map that you had laid out. So it's pretty cool because you have the East Coast, Pittsburgh, you have Detroit, you have Texas, and obviously yourself in California. That's a pretty good mix. So that's outstanding. So when we look at masterminds, just like everything you do, you're not like everybody else. You're putting together something that's kind of unique. I call it a unique model, but I'll let you kind of describe it in the 2 days and all of that. So why don't you share, what you're doing differently?
Yeah. So let me start with some of the things that are very similar. Like, so we're doing 4 meetings a year.
Mhm.
So like, some masterminds out there are 3 years, some are 4 year. We're somewhere in that capacity. We're going to have, an online community. We're going to have a membership area for people to be able to gather knowledge. And you're going to be able to get the same types of discounts and different things you're going to get from other communities. So everything that the good that other communities do, we're going to definitely provide to the group that we are putting together. The things that are going to be different are the hot seats and how the meetings are organized. If anybody is familiar with a mastermind community, most of them do hot seats, and that's kind of their thing. And it's not a bad thing. There's a lot of good information from hot seats. You get up and you talk about who you are, what your superpower is in your business, and where you're struggling. You get feedback from the group, and that's been a very powerful model for a long time. And I'm not dogging it. I'm not saying there's anything significantly wrong with it to a large degree, but once you've seen somebody's hot seat a couple of times, it becomes kind of redundant, right? I mean, that's the challenge that a lot of these groups have, is how do we keep it fresh? How do we keep it exciting? How do we make it worth people's time to come and be at these events outside of just networking and hanging out? And so, we want to make sure that we're more purposeful in our events. So it's kind of like a mastermind and a workshop, met, went on a date, got married, had a baby, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, we're going to be very purposeful in the meetings and, how we structure them. We will do questionnaires beforehand to find out what the superpower is and the struggle is. So we're going to approach it the same way. But when we get to the meeting itself, we're going to have a plan of action in place on how to approach the needs of the group throughout the meeting to make sure that everybody kind of gets what they need from the meetings. And then at the end of the meetings, we're going to take some time to put together action plans to make sure that people are going out into the next 90 days with a plan of action. And that's huge, because a lot of times you go to these things, whether you're going to a 3-day event like Wholesaling Live, or you're going to a mastermind, it's like a lot of these things are like drinking from a fire hose. And you go and you just get bombarded with all this information. You're not even sure where to start and what to take and what to take back to your business and what to implement. And sometimes you go back and implement the wrong things, and you don't get to where you want to go, or you end up excuse me, sorry. You end up apologize about that. Couldn't fight that one off. You don't end up where you want to land. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we want to make sure that when you go to this group, that you're getting the value that you need, that you're looking for, that's going to really impact your business, and that you have a plan to implement it when you leave, and accountability throughout that process.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So when you think about, because when you put this together, you and your partners probably had the idea of, who the ideal applicant would be. You want to kind of share who that might be?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want anybody to be intimidated about applying to this. I think that that's the one thing I want to communicate, and I think that gets lost in some of the other communication we do.
Mm,
We're not looking for somebody that this isn't going to be a situation where we're going to have measuring sticks in the room. We're not looking to figure out like who's got the biggest, best, baddest business. We're looking for the best people that are willing to work together to build better businesses. And so all we're asking for are people that have an actual business, and that generally means that you've been in it for a year or so, and you're doing deals, and you're not going to be asking the basic questions about how to get started or how to get going.
mm,
That's really, if you're somebody that has a business and you feel like you have something that you can contribute, and you have the capability that you can take the information that you're getting and actually go back and implement it,
yeah,
that you're in a place in your business where you can actually go back and implement the information you're getting, then you're somebody that should apply to this group. Again, we want people to teach, we want people to chase. We do want people that we're going to bring up and make them better. And we want people that we're going to obviously aspire to be like in the group. And we want that good mix. So if you feel like you're not sure if you're somebody, the right person, the right fit, apply, and let's have that conversation and see. We might see something in you that you're not seeing in yourself, and we'll also be very honest if you're not ready. But on the back end, we're putting together stuff right now as we speak to help you get ready to be part of this community.
very cool. I am curious about one thing. Do you envision when somebody has a business that they do it full time, or do you think somebody could have a 9 to 5 job and be doing this on the side hustle and do 10 to 12 deals a year? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, the key point is that you're able to implement the information you're getting.
Got
I
it.
get that people have, they may have not left their job yet. I don't think that. I want to say that's not a parameter to disqualify. That what's gonna disqualify is like the basic question of how do I even start to market.
Right.
And that really comes down to, have you done any deals yet?
Yeah.
So if you're doing deals and you have experience, and you have some experience in maybe putting money together, or
Right.
building your buyers list and marketing, or that kind of thing, you have experience. Like the biggest thing for me, what I really want to communicate more than anything is I do not want people to spend money that they don't need to spend because they're not ready to be in this group.
Perfect.
That's really what it comes down to. It's important to me. I don't need anybody's money. So it's important to me to make sure that when we're doing this, that the people who are able to be part of this community are able to actually utilize the information they're getting. This isn't a coaching program that I will spend as much time with anybody that they need. If they're part of this group and they reach out to me, I will set up calls with them, and I will spend as much time as they need going through their business. By all means, that's something that I will be doing. But this isn't per se a coaching program, right?
Hmm.
So if you're looking for how do you do your first mail drop, or how do you build your buyers list, then you're probably not ready for this group. We're going to be putting things together for you, but
Hmm.
you're probably not ready for this group. If you're able to say, I have a business that's functioning and operating, and I'm doing deals, and I have a few things I'm doing in my business that are good that I can contribute, and I have a lot of things that I can definitely gain and go to put into use, and I actually have the capabilities to do that, then you're going to be a perfect fit for this group.
That's awesome. So I know it's really important for people to sign up early because I know you're going to be making sure no market is saturated.
Right.
Why don't you just kind of highlight again, share why you're doing that, why that's important, and then why it's important to sign up early.
Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, we have our first event is November 4th and 5th of 2019, which is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And we're already butting up heads with the hotel because our room block is filling up, and we're trying to get that expanded as it is. So we're already at a point right now we're going to have to be cutting. We talked about cutting off applications around the 15th of October for this first event, because we're already having to move part of our, like myself and some of the others that are associated with putting this together, across the street to the other hotel to make it happen. So that's number one. But number two, we are we are capping markets because we do not want we want people to be open and 100% transparent and willing to share in these groups. And so we're very cognizant of like who's doing what and where as people are applying. That's the other thing that will kind of keep somebody out, is if you're doing the exact same thing as somebody else in the same market, chances are we're probably not going to put you in the group, because that overlap is not going to allow either one of you to be transparent and honest and
Right.
open and ask for the help that you need, or give the help that somebody else needs. So we want to make sure, again, that we are like we have that balance of, you know, people in different markets so that everybody feels like they can contribute as much as they need to and want to. And so that's huge. And then the size of the group as well. You know, there are, you know, I've been part of other communities where it just got to a point where you didn't know everybody's name and it
Mm,
felt watered down. And so we're going to be capping the size of the group. Even if we don't, even when we have open markets, there's going to be a point and where, and it's going to be kind of that where it feels right point where we're going to say, okay, this is good, because past this point, people aren't getting the value that they need to get.
yeah, that makes total sense. And again, I saw it in your literature. You're not here to be the biggest.
No.
That's not who you are. But you are going to be the best, and I have every faith that you'll get there. So as we wrap this up, how can people find out more? Because they should be extremely excited by what we've put out here in this last 25 minutes. But how can they go find out more? What's the website, Facebook groups, or how can they find out more?
Well, they can, I mean, there's several ways they can find out more. Beinthisroom.com is one of the places you can go. The reason why we named it, the page beinthisroom.com is because I think it's important that you're in the room, that this is the room you want to be in, that you want to be a part of if you're looking to grow and, you know, really take your business to a better place. So beinthisroom.com is where you want to go and get some information. There's a little video there, some information. You can fill out the application. The process is simple. You know, you click the link, you fill out the app, you get taken to a calendar, you schedule a call. It's a 15-minute call. You'll talk to Mike Cowper, ask him whatever questions you have, and he'll answer whatever questions you have. If you feel like it's fit for you, and after the conversation, if he feels like you're a fit for us, then he will send out an invitation to you. And you know, you can come to the first meeting. And if you still at the end of the first meeting feel like it's not a fit for you, no harm, no
No
foul.
harm, no foul. Yeah.
Yeah, if you feel like it is, then we'll talk about what the next step is. So again, we want people that want to be there. And so we're very, very simple. If you have questions beyond that, if you go to beinthisroom.com and you have questions beyond that, you can email me at don@fliptalk.com, and I will I'll either jump on a call with you or I'll answer your email, whichever way is best to get your questions answered. And again, it's simple. We're not going to try to pressure you. We're not going to try to sell you. It's either this is something that you see as part of what you want for your path, or you don't. And it's literally that simple. So what I have to say about that is, if it is for you, great, and come and apply, and let's get you a part of this community. If it isn't for you, I'm going to be putting out free podcasts and free content, and I'm going to be rolling out some courses here around the corner, and you know, some way, somehow, I'm going to change your life. So that's all I got to say about that.
There you go. So real quick, again, beinthisroom.com to go get some basic information, see the applicant, fill it out, talk to Mike. And if you have any further questions, it's don@fliptalk.com. So Don, this has been so much fun. Again, very impressed with what you're doing. Thank you so much for giving back all the time. And I wish you nothing but success.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
You got it.